This is the story of a Black woman who walked away with nothing but her dignity and returned with an empire they couldn't erase. A story of betrayal, silence, strategy, and the moment the family disappointment turned the entire room upside down with one page of truth. If you've ever been dismissed, underestimated, or written off by your own blood, this one is for you. Part 1. The last time I stood across from my older sister, she was standing beneath crystal chandeliers at the Magnolia Hills Country Club, gripping a microphone like she owned the world. 40 relatives stared at her, waiting for the show. Well, look who finally wandered back, she purred, tilting her head like she smelled something bad. My little sister, the runaway dropout who's been pretending she's successful. Laughter rolled across the room. My mother hid her smirk behind a champagne flute. My father offered a stiff approving nod. They all thought it was cute, public humiliation as entertainment. I didn't flinch. I just stood there in a charcoal seat sharp enough to slice every lie in the room. What my sister didn't know was this. She had hired a private intel firm to expose me as broke, unemployed, and faking my business. She thought she was minutes away from revealing my real life in front of the entire family. But when that folder finally hit the table, the laughter died like a blown fuse. If you've ever been your family's punching bag and dreamed of the perfect comeback, you'll understand exactly what came next. 6 years of silence had started one bitter night in our hometown of Riverside, South Carolina, inside a dining room with a crooked mahogany table that always wobbled on the left side. My father, Ronald Maddox, had just carved into a honey-glazed turkey, steam rising in curls that felt like warning smoke. My mother, Stephanie, passed a bowl of sweet potatoes, glancing proudly at my sister Serena, who was 21 and already treated like the family's chosen one. I was 25, freshly returned from a failed startup internship in Houston, praying to survive one peaceful holiday dinner. That fantasy lasted about 4 minutes. My father set his knife down and looked straight at me. Monica, your sister's launching her new real estate firm next month. You'll start as her operations assistant. Full-time. Start Monday morning. I froze, fork in midair. I already have interviews in Atlanta, I said calmly. Tech firms. Actual roles. Serena leaned back in her chair and snorted. You really think those companies want someone who barely scraped through her degree? Come on, Moni. You need us. My mother nodded without hesitation. Without family, you'll end up in somebody's shelter. Take the job. Be grateful you have a fallback. That word, fallback, landed harder than the winter wind outside. I had spent 2 years taking online courses in cafes, surviving on part-time coding gigs while my sister lived off family loans and spa weekends. Now they expected me to fetch her dry cleaning like it was a blessing. I pushed my plate away. I'm not your pet employee. My father's jaw tightened. Ungrateful. After all we've done for you. Serena smirked into her wine. Sure, run off to your silly little dreams. See how long before you come crawling back. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my cloth napkin, squeezed it tight, and tossed it onto the table. The cranberry glaze spilled like red paint across Mother's white table runner. My mother gasped. My father's chair screeched backwards. That's it, I said evenly. I'm done. I left without my coat. December air slapped me in the face as I crossed the frozen porch steps. Behind me, Serena yelled something about how I'd regret it. I never looked back. The drive to Columbia took 45 minutes, long enough to replay every fake smile and every whispered insult I had ever swallowed. By the time I parked outside a rundown co-working hub on Rivers Avenue, my hands were shaking with fury and clarity. I had $250 in my account. A laptop with a flickering corner screen. No home. No plan. Good enough. That night, I slept on a lumpy leather couch in the break room. The building manager let me stay when I rewired their glitchy online booking software. I did it by 2:40 a.m. using snippets of code I'd taught myself from forum threads. Word spread fast. A youth mentorship nonprofit needed a digital intake system. I built it in 3 days. They paid cash. They sent me to a small district office that needed automation tools for school budgeting. 6 months in, I rented a tiny studio above a discount pharmacy. My window faced an alley, but the rent was low, and I finally had a shower that locked. I hired one person, a quiet former classmate named Jared Wills, who had been laid off from an aerospace contractor. We split equity, no salary, 50-50. We built software that helped state departments process contracts cleanly and legally. The state of South Carolina signed first. $190,000. We ate grocery store pizza on the office floor and toasted with sparkling water like fools who believed in destiny. Then year 2 hit. We moved near the Capitol building. I hired Ariel Knox, our first real operations manager. She turned sticky notes into strategy and chaos into spreadsheets. More contracts came: highways, public safety, veteran services. Every handshake earned. Every dollar clean. By year 4, our company, Civic Links, had 32 employees and a multi-million-dollar contract with the Transportation Authority to digitize snow route data, something nobody believed 2 Black founders could pull off. My sister launched her luxury real estate empire, funded by my parents' retirement accounts, bridge club friends, and private loans from our uncle. I saw the press release. I scrolled right past it. I had bigger things to build. Last summer, we added cybersecurity defense. Ariel caught a system vulnerability during routine checks. I fixed the breach myself overnight. That patch saved a county from losing its internal records during a malware attack. They mailed me a thank you plaque. I hung it above my desk. Not for ego, for proof. Proof that I didn't need blood relatives to succeed. Now Civic Links covers 2 renovated floors of an old brick warehouse. My corner office faces the river, though I rarely sit still long enough to enjoy the view. Jared leads tech. Ariel runs operations. I hunt the next contract, the next improvement, the next win. The girl who walked away coatless into a winter night had no idea she was walking toward an empire. But silence has gravity, and certain invitations drag you back whether you're ready or not. The call that pulled me back into their world didn't come from my parents or my sister. It came from my cousin Taryn, the one who kept her head down during every family war, the cousin who sent birthday memes instead of picking sides. Her text hit during a contract review meeting, just one sharp sentence. Granddad's in the hospital again. The Christmas gala might be his last. He asked for you. I locked the conference room door. Taryn wasn't dramatic. She didn't exaggerate. If she said last, she meant it. Before replying, I checked my inbox. A new message glared at me, sent from my own email address at 1:04 a.m. Subject: Verification materials, urgent recipient. Lane forensics at metrointelgroup.com. Attached: Black Small Square, my Q2 expense report. Black Small Square, a calendar invite showing a private dinner with the state budget office. Black Small Square, a zoomed photo of me entering our secured parking garage 2 nights ago. The forwarding IP traced to someone inside our system. Someone spoofed my credentials. Someone wanted my movements tracked. I forwarded it to Jared with one line. Find who did this. Full audit. No sleep until we know. Before he even responded, my phone rang. Jared. Monica, it's Serena. She hired Metro Intel, the same firm that exposed that fake philanthropist last year. They're pulling your payroll forms, apartment deeds, software licenses, everything. She wants a full takedown book printed and passed out at the gala. I paced the carpet. She's calling it what? I asked. Family integrity outreach. Her exact words. I'm proving she's been lying about being a CEO for years. There it was. The trap. Granddad's failing health, just convenient timing. They wanted me present when they dragged me. 2 minutes later, Jared sent results. Spoofed login credentials. Deleted to hide the trail. No further breach. But the damage was done. They had enough to weaponize. I stared at Taryn's message. He keeps asking for you. Every option tasted bitter. Option 1, don't go. Let them speak unchallenged. They would rewrite me as a fraud forever. Option 2, show up unprepared and get blindsided. No chance. Option 3, walk in knowing more than they do. I chose the third. I typed, Flight to Riverside tomorrow. Earliest possible. Taryn replied instantly. I'll pick you up. He'll cry when he sees you. Then I did something unthinkable. I booked a private appointment with the same investigations firm my sister hired. Metro Intel, downtown Charleston. No lawyers. No entourage. Just me. The next morning, their office sat behind mirrored glass, sunlight reflecting off parked cars. A receptionist buzzed me through. In a windowless room sat Quentin Hale, a private intelligence contractor in his 40s with a soldier's posture and a coffee mug stained like evidence. Ms. Maddox, he said. No handshake. You know why I'm here? I asked. He opened a drawer, pulled out 2 envelopes thick enough to build a bridge. One is what your sister paid for, he said. The second is what she didn't ask for. He slid the first envelope forward. Maddox. Verified professional profile. Inside. Black small square contract proof showing CivicLink secured a $38 million multi-year deal with the State Transportation Department. Black small square records proving I purchased my Riverside condo in cash. Black small square proof of diversified investments, mostly municipal bonds and tech ETFs. Black small square equipment lease receipts, payroll filings, security licensing. Your numbers match every public filing, he said. Revenue growth, 29% year over year. Client retention, 97%. No tax flags. No ethics complaints. I stayed silent. He tapped the envelope again. You built this clean. Then he slid the second envelope. S. Maddox, unauthorized financial transfers. My pulse slowed. This one wasn't about me. It was about her. Inside. Black small square 6 transfers totaling $850,000 from Serenity Estates LLC, my sister's company, to a shell holding firm in Barbados. Black small square returns routed back into her personal debit account under consulting reimbursements. Black small square 2 emails from her investor threatening litigation. Black small square 1 internal memo instructing her CFO not to submit audited statements until after the holidays. Use the family event as distraction. I closed the folder slowly. You're giving me this, I said flatly. Quentin leaned back. My younger brother stole my pension and disappeared. Families like to pick a favorite until it costs them. Your sister is paying me to silence you. He pointed to the envelopes. I don't silence women who built their own empire from scratch. Take both. Use them however you want. I'll keep originals locked. I nodded once, stood, and left without thanking him. He had his reasons. So did I. 2 nights before the gala, I received a legal email. Subject, formal warning, cease interference. Signed by attorney Marquis Ellison, my cousin on my mother's side. The letter threatened. Black small square immediate injunction. Black small square restraining order. Black small square civil damages. If I attempt to disrupt or publicly defame Serena Maddox at the Christmas gathering. There it was. They never imagined I had her secrets. My phone rang. My father. I ignored it twice before answering. His voice was gravel and bourbon. Serena says you're digging for dirt again. Don't embarrass this family. Come if you must, but sit in the back and keep quiet. Don't upset your grandfather. I'm coming for him. Not for you. You still playing with that little computer company? He sneered. Your sister just secured new funding. You really want to ruin her night? Click. He hung up. I let the silence sit. Then I opened Taryn's forwarded guest list. 40 attendees. Politicians. Donors. 2 state senators. A procurement chief whose signature would finalize our biggest statewide software contract yet. A single holiday toast could change both of our futures. Then something old and familiar echoed in my mind. My grandfather teaching me chess when I was 7. The queen isn't powerful because she attacks first, Monica. She's powerful because she chooses where to stand. Decision made. I texted Taryn. Tell him I'm coming. She wrote back. I will. He'll smile for the first time all week. I landed in Riverside just after sunrise. Taryn met me at the airport curb in her old silver hybrid. She hugged me quickly, eyes shining. He's tired, Moni, but he's still sharp. He keeps asking if you brought your chess brain. I smiled faintly. Tell him the Queen is in motion. We drove straight to the country club that night. The Magnolia Hills ballroom smelled like pine and cinnamon-glazed ham. Evergreen garlands wrapped the staircase railings, and gold candles flickered in crystal holders. The same place where my sister once humiliated me. History was about to reverse. I checked my reflection in the glass. Black tailored jumpsuit, clean lines, pearl earrings, hair slicked into a low twist. I didn't look like the girl who walked out into the December cold 6 years ago. I handed my coat to the attendant. Taryn whispered, "She doesn't know you're here yet." Good. We walked past cliques of relatives and business partners. A live quartet played soft jazz versions of carols. Servers floated by with sweet potato tartlets and champagne. Then I saw him. My grandfather, propped up in a velvet corner booth with pillows stacked behind him. A thin oxygen tube disappeared behind his ear. His eyes lifted. They widened. He smiled. That smile alone was worth the flight. I knelt beside him, took his warm, papery hand. "Queen's move," he rasped. "Accepted," I whispered back. Across the room, my father nursed whiskey beside old factory friends in tuxedos. My mother fussed with floral centerpieces like the world depended on centerpiece height. My sister stood near the fireplace surrounded by investors, laughing too loudly, shoulders pulled back like she was posing for a magazine cover. She hadn't seen me yet. Not yet. The room filled slowly. 2 state senators. The director of public infrastructure. 3 regional donors. I spotted the procurement chief I needed to speak with, leaning near the dessert table covered in pecan pies and peppermint bark. Perfect. Before I could approach, Serena's voice blared across the speakers. She stood at the front podium, tapping the microphone. The chatter died instantly. "Everyone," she said, lifting her glass. "Before dinner, a quick toast." In her left hand was a thick folder embossed with a private intelligence seal. I felt Taryn stiffen beside me. "Here we go. Family means truth," Serena began. "And transparency matters, especially when people wander from reality." Light chuckles. She opened the folder dramatically. "I hired a specialized firm to verify certain claims floating around our family." She began passing printed packets down each table row. Taryn received one. She slid it to me under the linen tablecloth. Cover title: M. Maddox. Background verification report. I flipped it open calmly. I didn't need to react. The room would do that for me. Serena strutted across the stage like an actress building tension. "Page 1, she announced. "Someone claims to be a tech CEO." A few snickers. "Page 2, claims of multi-million-dollar state contracts." Then she turned the page. Her voice broke mid-sentence. Silence fell like a dropped curtain. Printed in black and gold. "State contract executed. $38 million agreement. Public record." Below that, Civic Links founder honored in Tech Leaders Under 35, National Business Journal. The microphone slipped out of her hand and crashed onto the stage floor. The echo split the room. My mother's hand clamped around a napkin so tightly her knuckles turned bone white. My father froze with his glass halfway up, liquid trembling. Phones came out instantly. Someone whispered, "She's actually legit." Another, "Is that the CEO they quoted last quarter?" A senator approached me directly. "Ms. Maddox, your statewide routing proposal? Very strong analytics. I'd like to discuss implementation before fiscal close." I smiled lightly. "Happy to." Across the room, my grandfather chuckled weakly. "Check and waiting for mate," he said. Serena stood frozen, eyes flickering like she was glitching. "This doesn't change anything," she stammered. "The rest of the report." But she never reached the end, because Marquis, the attorney cousin, suddenly rose, snatched the packet from her hand, and raised his voice like a courtroom judge. Final page. Unauthorized transfers totaling $850,000 from Serenity Estates LLC to offshore accounts. Active inquiry pending. Potential fraud. Possible criminal exposure. Gasps rippled across the ballroom. Someone yelled, "She stole investor money?" My mother dropped her napkin. My father's whiskey glass fell and shattered, amber liquid spreading like shame across the wood floor. The double doors blew open. 2 federal agents stepped inside. Badges out. Serena Maddox, Federal Financial Crimes Division. Step forward with your hands visible. She backed up, trembling. This is a mistake. Monica set me up. Tell them, Marquis. But Marquis stood still, jaw clenched. I don't defend thieves. The quartet stopped mid-song, bows suspended in the air. The guests parted into a silent aisle. The lead agent pulled a silver pair of cuffs from her belt. You have the right to remain silent. Serena's voice rose in panic. Monica, you wouldn't do this to me. I didn't move. She wasn't speaking to a sister. She was speaking to her mirror. And finally seeing what she'd become. They let her out as the room watched in stunned silence. No applause. Just consequence. 3 months later, my phone buzzed at 12:54 a.m. Blocked number. I let it ring 4 times. Then I answered. Her voice was cracked and thin. Monica, it's me. I stared at the ceiling in the dark. Where are you calling from? A motel outside Augusta. They took the house. The fund collapsed. Investors are suing. I have nothing. She inhaled sharply. I need help. Just a loan to start over. You're my sister. You owe me that. I closed my eyes. I owe you nothing. You can't turn your back. Blood matters. No. Behavior matters. I ended the call. Blocked the number. Sat awake until sunrise. The morning after the gala, headlines spread faster than spilled champagne. Real estate heiress detained in federal investigation. State contract CEO silently built 8-figure empire while family mocked her. Family group chats caught fire. One aunt texted, Monica, were you really building a whole corporation? An uncle followed with, so Serena was stealing? No apologies. Just shock. I ignored them all. Instead, I sat in my Riverside hotel room, robe tied loosely, laptop open, coffee steaming beside me. Jared appeared on video call, eyes puffy, half awake. Whole office saw the news, he said. Half the team is calling you Queen Checkmate. I smirked. Tell them I accept my crown. Then Jared slid a thumb drive across his desk toward the camera. Digital insurance, he said. Encrypted copy of our core systems. If somebody tries to sabotage our servers during this chaos, plug this into any terminal. That was the thing about building your life from nothing. You don't just get smart. You get prepared. Around noon, I met with the procurement chief over coffee. He'd watched the entire gala unfold from 10 feet away. Your competitor tried to tell us you were unstable, he said casually. I sipped my espresso. Misinformation spreads easiest when people assume a black woman can't be brilliant and successful at the same time. He nodded slowly. Your routing system will save the state 30% in labor costs within year 1. 40, I replied, if you allow full automation. He grinned. Send the final proposal Monday. Budget approves next week. Check. Then mate. I spent the next day at the hospital with my grandfather. He looked smaller now, cheeks slightly sunken, but his eyes still sharp. You played the game well, he whispered. I didn't start it, I said softly. No, he chuckled, but you finished your move. He studied me for a long time. Everyone thinks revenge is about winning. He paused to breathe. It's actually about remembering who you are when they tried to make you forget. I rested my forehead against his hand. For the first time in years, I felt the ache of everything I'd carried. Not just the work, the betrayal, the years of being dismissed. And now, finally, proof. Not for them. For me. 2 days later, a call came from my father. I let it ring. He called again. I answered. His voice was strangely small. Your sister, they denied bail. Silence. People are asking why you didn't warn us. I exhaled slowly. You weren't listening when I was drowning. Don't ask me to throw you a life jacket now that you smell smoke. He didn't argue, just breathed into the receiver, then hung up. On my final night in Riverside, the same country club sent me a message. We would like to invite you to speak at our Women in Leadership fundraising brunch. Funny. 6 years ago, they let my own blood publicly humiliate me in that same ballroom. Now they wanted me as a keynote. I didn't answer. Not right away. Some invitations should sit. Let them feel the weight. Back at my condo weeks later, the city lights glowed beneath my floor-to-ceiling windows. My phone buzzed with an email notification. Funding approved. Statewide expansion contract. $52.40 million. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I opened a group thread with my entire team. We did it. Bonuses coming. First-class retreats included. Stream of emojis and all-caps messages followed. I leaned back. Everything I built, every line of code, every contract, every night on that couch in the co-working space. None of it came from family help. It came from refusing to bend when they tried to break me. 3 months after Serena's arrest, my uncle texted. Judge denied dismissal. More charges coming. Attached was a photo of her leaving court in handcuffs, head bowed, hair messy, designer shoes sinking into a rain puddle. I stared at it in silence. There was no pleasure, just closure. 3 months after the courtroom photo circulated, life had settled into something quiet, intentional, and entirely mine. No late-night panic calls. No whispered comparisons. No family dinners where I was the punchline. Just silence and success. Every Tuesday morning, I still woke up before dawn. Habit from the days when failure felt one missed invoice away. I would stand barefoot at the window, watch the river drift under the city lights, and remember the girl who once slept on a couch beside a vending machine. She was still inside me. That's why I never took any of this for granted. One evening, Jared sent me a message. We hit 50 employees today. Attached was a photo of the team, interns to directors, laughing around stacked pizza boxes and empty sparkling cider bottles. Ariel stood in the middle, holding a poster that read, Civic Links. Built, not begged for. It made something in my chest warm and tight. All the years of being told I didn't belong. All the warnings that I'd end up asking for help. All the times they used the word ungrateful like a weapon. They had no idea I was building something their opinions could never reach. 2 weeks later, I received a letter. Handwritten. From prison. I stared at the envelope for a long minute before opening it. My sister's handwriting, the same looping cursive she used to win handwriting awards in middle school. Monica, you won. I lost everything. But you don't understand. They expected me to win. They needed me to be the one who succeeded. I couldn't let you beat me. Ever. That's why I did everything I did. I don't expect forgiveness. But just know, I didn't destroy you because I hated you. I did it because somewhere deep down, I knew I wasn't strong enough to win fairly. Serena. I folded the letter once. Slid it back into the envelope. Placed it in a drawer. Not out of malice. Out of understanding. Some people carry their own self-destruction like a birthright. She wasn't trying to ruin me. She was trying to keep herself from drowning under the weight of her own insecurities. She failed. I refused to drown with her. That spring, my grandfather passed quietly in his sleep. His funeral was held at the same country club where everything burned and began. When they asked if anyone wanted to speak, I stepped forward. Not out of obligation. Out of promise. He once told me, I said, voice steady, that the queen isn't powerful because she moves first. She's powerful because she knows exactly when to move. And when everyone thinks you're trapped, that's when you flip the board. Half the room didn't understand. Some nodded slowly. Terrence smiled through tears. I laid a chess queen on top of his casket. Ivory white. He would have laughed. 3 months later, my father called again. This time, he didn't sound angry. Just aging. Your mother and I are selling the house, he said quietly. People talk. We can't stay here anymore. You were always the one who understood how things work. I let the quiet stretch. He had built the battlefield. He just never considered he'd be standing alone when the smoke cleared. Finally, I said, Dad, I hope you learn to rest in the truth instead of running from it. He exhaled something like regret and hung up. On the anniversary of my first state contract, Civic Links held a private rooftop celebration. Soft jazz. string lights, champagne chilled on silver trays. Ariel handed me a gift box. Inside, a leather notebook embossed with. She built her own last name. I didn't cry, but I came close. Around midnight, I stood alone by the railing overlooking the skyline. Someone asked from behind me, "Do you ever miss them?" I didn't turn. I just answered softly, "No." I just finally stopped needing them. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for an apology that will never come. Monica stopped waiting. She built a life they could no longer damage and a legacy they could never claim credit for. Her sister lost everything trying to destroy her. Her parents lost their silence as armor. The family name didn't save any of them, but discipline did. Self-respect did. And the moment Monica realized she owed them nothing, she became unstoppable. Because the truth is simple. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is never needing their validation again. If you've ever been underestimated by your own family, drop a fire in the comments. Tell me, who do you relate to the most, Monica or Serena? Comment your city. I want to see where my real ones are watching from. Follow for more revenge stories, family betrayals, and unexpected comebacks. Turn on notifications so you never miss when karma strikes again. Share this story with someone who needs to be reminded. You don't have to prove them wrong, just build anyway.